Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Nicole. So today we are doing the October TBR. Obviously October is Halloween. Now in Australia where I live, we don't celebrate Halloween. Halloween is becoming a little bit more popular for kids now growing up. For the most part, it is not something that is celebrated here, so I've not really gotten into the theme of it or anything. Might decorate my shelves. I do have some Halloween stuff, but haven't put it out today because I simply forgot. So for this month, because it's Halloween, I thought let's get into the spooky season a little bit. I know it works better in America because it's like fall/autumn, so it makes a bit more sense. It's currently spring here, so the vibes are kind of like a little bit off for like the spooky season. But I thought this month we're going to focus a bit more on my cozy fantasy reads and then also read some witchy inspired books. I'm also planning on doing like a little bit of a reading vlog on like reading some witchy stories. But let's just get straight into the 6 books that I have picked out to read in the month of October. 3 of them I physically own, 3 of them I do not. 1 of them I have to go and purchase, and the other 2 I'm hoping I can pick up, but if not, I will just buy them as e-readers, so I'll just stick a photo up of their pictures when I get to them. But to start off with, the first book that I have picked up is Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar. I apologize, I know I have 100% pronounced that incorrectly. Now this is one of the 5 remaining books on the 24 books that I want to read in 2024. I just haven't picked this one up because I've been focusing on other fantasy reads, and I just feel like it gives me not cutesy but like cozy fantasy vibes a little bit. So we focus on our main character, whose name I do not remember. Her name is Sheetal, and her mother is actually a star, and from what I can remember, up in, I guess, space, there's like these star constellations, and stars are like, I don't know if they're like people as such or if they're just like entities, but they have their own like political system. And like her hair is silver because her mother's a star, and her mother has to return back to the constellation. And what happens is her father becomes really unwell because she has magical powers from being a star. She loses control, and the only way to heal her father from her starfire burns is to have a full star's blood to heal him. So they must be human in some sort of way, like a human body or something. So she's got to ascend to the sky, and her celestial family has summoned her for a reason. They need a human champion in a competition to decide the next ruling house of the heavens. So Sheetal agrees to participate in this competition as long as someone will be able to give her blood to save her human father. It just sounds really intriguing. I know I explained that poorly, so I do apologize. It sounds really cool, and I'm excited to see what kind of world is happening up in the heaven, in the stars, and just kind of see like what the goal is. It's been one that's intrigued me for a really long time, and I've just never picked it up. So I think October is the perfect time to read this. And then the second book that I have chosen is also another book on the 24 books I'm going to read in 2024, and that is Cast in Firelight by Dana Swift. Once again, it just feels like a YA fantasy kind of cozy vibes. Feels like the perfect time to tick this one off my list. So we have our 2 main characters, who's Adra and Jatin. They are both heirs to different thrones. It looks like they have like wizards, and I guess maybe, I don't know if witches would be the right word for the females, but basically the 2 of them have an arranged marriage. The purpose of this arranged marriage is to unite the really 2 powerful kingdoms between the 2 of them, but they have always had this rivalry between them, and they're not looking forward to being married. But basically there's a criminal underbelly in one of the towns, which is Belvoir. I should say kingdom, sorry. This criminal underbelly is starting to make a move to control, I guess, the kingdom, and looks like there's secret identities. Got some deathly spells, trying to keep true selves hidden, and looks like they're gonna have to learn to trust one another. It sounds like it's gonna be a really interesting take on, I guess, a fantasy world, especially with the magical elements. I'm interested to see whether they're actually a part of the criminal underbelly. Seems a bit odd, but we'll see what I think of it and just give it a read. But it's just a standalone fantasy, so it just seems like a perfect time to pick this one up. And then the third book that I have decided to pick up is by Heather Fawcett, and it is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. And this is the second book in, I guess, the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which was the first book. I did read that one last year, and it is a cozy fantasy, and I didn't super love it because I went into it with the wrong expectations and it didn't live up to them. I love the covers of the book, so I'm like, even if I don't enjoy the books, they look pretty on my shelves. But we focus on our main character, Emily Wilde. She is basically a scholar for fairies. This book is set in like the 1700s. Let me just see. They normally tell you a date. Oh, I'm way off. The 1900s. The books are set in the 1900s. And basically in the first book, she ended up going to this fairy town and helped people because she's writing an encyclopedia of different fairies. So she's got to go to, I guess, these small hidden towns and does research and speaks to the locals and finds out about their fairy lore. And she's putting together a book. It was kind of cutesy. She ends up getting into fairy, and one of the other main characters is actually a fairy that she's kind of got like a relationship with, and it's looking like she is wanting to actually map the realms of fairy, and we go on an adventure that takes us to the Austrian Alps and believes that we're actually going to be able to find the door to Bumblebee's realm. He's like a prince from the fairy world, and he's kind of been, I guess, banned or something, and he's been trying to get back to his kingdom. Fairies aren't very nice in this world, so she's promised to kind of help him. Emily is a little bit prickly, but like in the best way, and I did kind of enjoy her personality. It's really nice to be reading a book that's like set in the 1900s and just have women who are a bit more independent and trying to break societal norms, and I'm intrigued to see where this book takes us and learn more about the fairy realm because we didn't get a lot of that in the other book. It did take me a little while to read the first one, so I am anticipating this one might be the same, but I'm going into it knowing that I'm not going to super love it, which I think is the best way to do it because there will be no false hope. And then book number 4 that I need to go and pick up the physical copy of, it is Not Your Crush's Cauldron by April Asher. Now this is the third and I believe final book in the Supernatural singles series. I have read the first 2 books, which are down here. First one being Not the Witch You Wed, and then also Not Your Ex's Hexes. This book, Not Your Crush's Cauldron, did come out earlier this year. I haven't had a chance to pick it up because I have to get it from like a proper bookstore. But yeah, like I said, it's the third and final book in this series. We do focus on these 3 triplets. They are witches. So the triplets are, I believe, Violet and then Rose. As you can see, Not Your Crush's Cauldron focuses on Olive, hence the green book. And this series is really cool because it's not just about witches. It actually focuses on all of the supernatural. It's like we have demons and vampires, and then we also have like shapeshifters, so you know, like your werewolves or tigers, obviously witches and wizards. And basically these 3 triplets are part of the Maxwell family. Their grandmother is like the leader of, I think, the council or the witches, so she's kind of got the highest power, and she is training the eldest granddaughter Violet to take over her role because she's the primer. And each book just focuses on a different triplet, and this one we're focusing on Olive, and she is the youngest out of the 3. Okay, so Olive is, she's a teacher of college students, and she's assigned them a project designed to take them out of her comfort zone. And Olive realizes that she's actually never left town herself, and it's about time that changed. So she's going to take herself on a little bit of a trip to take herself out of her comfort zone. And the first thing she's going to do is move in with her longtime crush and friend, which is Baxter Donovan. He is a tattooed, motorcycle riding, and pleasantly pierced. He's an angel. Sorry, we have guardian angels as well. So yeah, so Bax is the guardian angel. He's not very good though. He's gotten a lot of black marks against his name because he's not doing a very good job at the guardian angel stuff. And as such, he's been given one last chance to keep his guardian wings, a high profile assignment he knows all too well. Olive is usually as low risk as it gets, but something has landed her on their radar, and he thinks there's something to do with the heart pounding stunt. She's determined to check off her dare I docket list. Okay, so she's given herself a list of things to try. It's probably one of them's gonna get her killed. He doesn't realize it, but keeping Olive out of trouble is going to be his hardest assignment yet. And the biggest kind of guardian angel code of contact rule that he's never broken is don't fall in love with your assignment. He's 100% gonna break that because they're gonna have a little cutesy romance. So obviously we've already met Olive and Bax at this point. Olive is very much throughout the first 2 books because they're her battle sisters, and Bax is really good friends. I believe with Violet, I also think he works in a bar. In my mind, he works in a bar. So I reckon we're gonna just have a really fun supernatural story and read with this book. It's laugh out loud, cute little romance, and I'm just excited to read this book. When I was reading the first 2, Olive was kind of the character that I gravitated the most towards because she's also a reader, likes to stay in, right up my alley. So I'm really excited to read her book and just finish this series and see how it goes. And then the 4th book that I want to read is called Hex Appeal by Kate Johnson. I literally stumbled upon this one on Apple Books. So this book has basically been sold as it's this spooky season curl up with the perfect witchy rom-com for fans of Gilmore Girls, Hocus Pocus, and Charmed. So it's an absolute must read if you love Erin Sterling's The Ex-Hex and Lana Harper's Payback's a Witch. We focus on our main character, Essie. She lives in a huge and ever-changing house in the village of Goodwinter in Essex. So she lives with various witches of various ages, one of whom is still salty about being hanged in the 1700s. And then we also have one who keeps accidentally casting fertility spells and one who knits things that creates the future. So this sounds like going to be modern day-ish, because I don't know when this book was actually released. It was released in 2022, so not too long ago. It's going to be a modern day witchy rom-com, which I'm loving, but we're going to have characters who are ghosts, potentially witches from the past, and they're going to be salty, and I'm here for it, with personalities. It sounds like it's going to be hilarious, and because all Essie wants is a normal life. Like, she's sick of being around the witches, she just wants to be a normal human, and unfortunately she finds herself drawn back to this house with her family because she can't just stop her witchiness, which is fair. So into this coven of chaos stumbles the gorgeous clueless Josh, who is their new landlord, and he's just discovered his tenants haven't paid rent since the 1700s. I'd be mad about that too. As Josh kind of has more to do with this house and this family and this coven, Essie is really determined to keep him as far away from her as possible. That is until a family secret that's been lying hidden for centuries puts Josh firmly under her spell. It just sounds cute. It sounds fun. It sounds like I'm going to be laughing a lot, and I'm excited to give it a go and read it. Hopefully I'll be able to pick it up, but if not, it's like $5 on Apple Books, so we can just buy that one. And then the sixth and final book that I want to read is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. This one came out in 2021. Also hoping to pick it up. I've seen it around anytime someone sort of talks about witchy books, so I want to give it a go. So we focus on our main character, which is Vivian Jones. She handled the biggest breakup of her life the way that any witch would: vodka, bubble baths, and putting a curse on her ex. And that was 9 years ago, and looks like her ex Reese has come back because he's descendant of the town's founders, who love this breaker of hearts and still irritatingly gorgeous. He returned back to their quaint town of Graves Glen to recharge the ley lines and make an appearance at the annual fall festival. But unfortunately, his every move results in calamity, so Vivi realizes that hexing her ex might not have been so harmless after all, as this curse then starts to affect the magic of the town, resulting in murderous wind-up toys, an outraged ghost, and a surprisingly talkative cat. So Vivi and Reese must put their personal feelings aside and work together to break the curse and save not just the town, but also Reese's life. So it just sounds like a cute, fun rom-com to read in the spooky season. I'm not someone that likes scary thrillers and murder mysteries. I like my cozy fantasy reads and funny rom-coms, and this just sounds like a great mix of books to just read this month. So they are the 6 books that I am planning on reading in the month of October. If you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a like, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please feel free to do so, and I will see you next week for my September reading wrap up. Bye guys.